Okay, hello everybody. Glad you're with us here. It is a Monday, Longshore and McKnight kicking off the week. And man, I was just reminiscing. Well, I have been for really about the last 24 hours where I was 46 years ago.
All of this stuff about college basketball, yeah, sure, fine. Who's on the hot seat, who's not? Yeah. The biggest story over the weekend and the biggest story so far of the new year, I was over there behind my studio here where I've got a collection of lapel pins, scrambling around trying to find my American flag, and I couldn't find it before we went on the air.
Wow.
The Americans win the gold medal in ice hockey. Don't turn us off, Becky. Don't turn us off, Gary.
Yeah, come on.
My two Canadian friends. 2-1 in overtime in Milan to win the gold medal for the first time since 1980 when, 1980 was actually, well, it was a long time ago. I'm not going to say what
the oldest was a sophomore at Auburn, and I was a sophomore at Jeff Davis High School. That just goes to show you how much older Theodis is than we are. But I can remember, the game was in the afternoon. It was not in the morning like it was yesterday. It was early afternoon. And I can remember sitting in front of the TV by myself. My father was out doing something else and having my feet propped up on the table because the TV was right there. I was that close to it, that interested in it, and can still hear Al Michaels today as that ended. And of course, now, Barry, we had to hold on a couple of days later to beat Finland or Sweden or one of those countries.
I want to say it was Sweden.
Yeah.
Might have been Norway. In the world of longshore, Sweden, Finland, Norway, Denmark, all one country. Who knows?
Sure.
So we can't tell the difference.
Yeah. Well, how about when we taking them over, like Canada and Greenland? That'll be next.
That ain't one of the that's one of the misnomers. That was not a gold medal game.
No, it was not.
But that was the huge.
It was exciting.
Upset.
Barry, the gloves come off, the helmets are on the ice. They're out there hugging one another. They're out celebrating. Then they show the Canadians over there, and they're like, wow, we got beat.
Well, again, the Canadians were ballyhooed as the best team, certainly in the world. And a lot of people were saying maybe the best team ever. There were tweets leading into the Olympics, and then this Canadian team is ridiculous. They're so talented. Nobody's going to even stay close to the Canadians. Again, don't turn me off, guys, but it was one of those. The impact of this game should be every bit as impactful as, the win in 1980 to win the gold medal, which was the first time they'd won it in 20 years. They won it in 1960 in Squaw Valley, California, and they win it in 1980 in Lake Placid, New York. That was part of the thing as well, was that it was on your home ice, Americans there. I want to say the arena in Lake Placid, New York, which is in the middle of nowhere, upstate New York, roughly comparable to Garrett Coliseum.
Well, I was going to say Beard Eaves.
Not a big, it's not nearly as big as Beard Eaves.
Yeah.
Maybe stylistically, but Beard Eaves is maybe twice the size of Lake Placid. The fact that it was on American soil and, it was an American team facing a Soviet team that was supposed to be the best.
I'm about to say, you're talking about the Canadians. That was the same thing I recall 46 years ago. Man, the Russians, nobody could beat them. They were phenomenal. They were the dream team, so to be. And that's what made that so special, because like yesterday, because nobody thought the Russians could get beat.
I didn't get a chance to watch it because I had baseball yesterday. We had a resumption game. It began at 11, so I was up there in the booth getting everything ready. And all of a sudden, down there, because it was a resumption game, you didn't have batting practice and stuff. It was the baseball game, Troy versus Campbell.
I've never heard the term resumption game.
Well, they played on Saturday. They got started on Saturday, and then they had lightning and thunderstorms, so they postponed the remainder of the game until Sunday at 11 o'clock in the morning. So I'm sitting up there, I'm getting ready, writing down, trying to catch up on the scorecard because I didn't do the Saturday game. And all of a sudden I hear Troy's dugout. Just absolutely. They start screaming and they're, piling out onto the field and hooping and hollering and, chest bumping each other. It looked like John and Taylor in Montgomery at the Tiger Trek event.
Oh, yeah.
And our public address announcer played Born in the USA and Proud, all that kind of stuff. Lee Greenwood and everything. And I knew what it was, but I had been tracking it, but I had gotten involved in my work and everything. And then I looked and I saw the goal, what they called a golden goal for an American named Jack Hughes in overtime. And a little while later, and I'm catching up on that. And a little while later, I saw a tweet from Jack Hughes with all of his teammates. Jack's missing a few teeth. All hockey players are.
Sure.
And
I know dentist if he needs to go see one.
Yeah, exactly. And an eye doctor as well. Dr. B in the house. But he had a tweet with a selfie. I mean, they're still, jumping around. They're still celebrating. Yeah. They got the American flag wrapped around them. And, Jack Hughes missing a couple teeth, huge smile with all of his teammates. And they're over there like in the box and all. And underneath it, all he said underneath it was, "I love my country."
Ah, beautiful.
Yep. I mean, there was none of this political stuff about,
Yeah, they leave that to the figure skaters and the downhill slalom.
We need to do that to make our country,
come on.
livable again. He just said, "I love my country." That was
beautiful. That's what it should be. And,
that was a great day for the Americans. The women win the gold medal over the Canadians. The men win the gold medal over the Canadians. I think both of them were in overtime.
Man, it's been a rough week for the Canadians, man. Ooh.
And two things I think about. Number one, this should be maybe more impactful than the 1980, although maybe 1980 was a bigger upset. I'm telling you, the Canadians had Connor McDavid. They had all of the NHL guys. The Americans had NHL guys too, but just not as many. This was supposed to be, the greatest Canadian team in many years. The fact that it wasn't, in North America probably took away from it.
Well, I heard you talking about the 1960 and 1980 gold medal team. There was one in the United States. Not taking anything away from them, but this was not one in the U.S. This was one overseas. So to me, it has a little more oomph to it. They had to play on soil to win. So did Canada. I get it. But they weren't on their home soil, home ice to win it. So I kind of, to me personally, that has a little more oomph to it. Canada's been running their mouth a little bit lately, so it was kind of nice to put them back in their place where they rightly belong.
See, I get that. Canada is. Somebody just texted me and said they're the Auburn of the world stage. Canada's overshadowed. No, which I don't think so.
I've not seen this clip that
Bob from Pike Road's talking about. He says, "Great win for Team USA hockey. The video showing President Trump congratulating the team with Kash Patel was awesome. Roll USA, roll." I didn't see it.
I'm sure that's somewhere. I need to see that clip. I did hear because of the weather, they had to fly to Florida. They couldn't land back in New York or something, so the plane bringing the hockey team back. Maybe they flew into West Palm Beach.
Don't you feel any empathy towards the Canadians? I mean, nicest people in the world, Canada. God bless you. The nicest people on God's green earth. They, this is. They've got some baseball players. They got a few football players, John Mechie, Austin McKay-Lover. They got some Canadians that play football, but Canada's the hockey's the thing in Canada. This is the one thing that they really, really do well besides, Rush and Chilliwack and Loverboy and all that. This was their thing.
Yeah.
They get over the Americans, and here comes the women's hockey team, and they lose to the Americans. in overtime. Men's
Do the
hockey
Mexicans
team,
have a
Canada,
hockey team? I doubt
they
they do.
lose in overtime. So, I mean, not
beat
just
them in something.
they're like, can we have something over the Americans? And the fact that it was in overtime, John.
Yeah. Oh, and it ain't like everybody gets a chance. It's like, boom, game over. Beautiful. Puck goes in the net, they're done. No, don't we get a chance? No, you don't. Shut up and sit down. Beautiful. Love it, hot finish. Love those hockey overtimes. There's none of this. Everybody gets a chance, and we'll put it on the 20, or we'll put it on the blue line, and everybody gets a slap shot. No, doesn't work that way. But, do I have anything against Canada? You ask. It is a beautiful country. I will say that. I took the train through Canada when I was a kid.
Never been.
It was beautiful. But, Barry, I got detained in a border crossing station going from Detroit to Windsor, Canada, because I had a 30-06 cartridge in the console of my vehicle.
And that's Canada's fault?
I'm thinking.
I mean, number one, you got to go get from Detroit, Michigan to Windsor, Ontario. You got to go south.
True. That is a little.
John tries to cross the border.
Yeah, it's true.
With a shot with a.
I didn't have a gun on me.
Cartridge.
Yeah, I did not have a gun on me. Was not in the vehicle. You know, Barry. At that age, your center console's got a bunch of receipts, some napkins. Might have some beer tops in there. I mean, consoles were trash cans when you were that
sort of
age.
real tiny clips that somebody was telling me about. I don't.
And this border guy said, "You got anything?" I went, "No." And he goes in the car. He's looking around the glove compartment. Goes through the console thing, and whoa, what's this, sir?
So,
I said, well, I'm a deer hunter, and I just probably left the cartridge in there the last time I was out. But do you have a gun? No, sir. Pull your vehicle over here to the side. I went, oh, you got to be kidding me. Pulled it over there. The dogs come out. They got mirrors underneath the vehicle. They got me in a room.
Are they interrogating you?
Well, they're asking me a few questions.
Are you now or have you ever been? Those kind of questions?
So long ago, this is probably 40 years ago when it happened, because I was in college. I was a little nervous. I was sweating a little bit. I thought, of course, what came to mind was, I wonder what Canadian prisons are like. But everything was fine. After about an hour, they let me go. We were just going over there to gamble, because you could gamble in Canada and you couldn't in Detroit. So anyway, that kind of bummed me out about the Canadians. But they kind of run their mouth a little bit.
Ago, John.
You gotta
give it up to them.
I probably had forgotten about it until you said, what you got against the Canadians? I went, well, if you're now that you're asking, I got something to tell you.
I actually, back in September, I actually saw Canada. Troy football was playing at Buffalo, and the day before, our radio crew went to Niagara Falls. And, you get on that certain point and you can see, I mean, Canada's big as day. Canada is right there, over there. Never been outside the United States in my life. I've been to Puerto Rico, which, of course, is in the
That's a territory.
But, I've seen Canada, and I've seen lots of Canadians, and I like maple syrup and, John Candy and, the Mackenzie brothers and the Great White North and all that. I've just never been, but I'm just empathizing, which John evidently is not. Man, that had to stink for Canada. Last week.
Hate it for you, man. Our friends up north, geez, what a gallant effort. I tell you, let me pat you on the back. Good job, Canada.
I've been to the Canada exhibit at Epcot.
Barry,
I've been there.
That's one of the La CLEA, I believe, something like, I know I'm mispronouncing it, because every country has a restaurant attached to it.
Right.
In Epcot, the Canadian restaurant is phenomenal. It's a steakhouse.
Right.
La CLEA. If my daughters are watching, they'll type it in on the River Region Straw chat line. Very good restaurant there in the Canada exhibit at Epcot.
That's it. I've got no reason to empathize for Canada, except I've got some terrific friends who I love very much that are Canadian. But other than that, that's just out of the purity of my heart. Man, it is great for America. I love this country. I'm looking around. I know my wife's got a bunch of little American flags. I was trying to find those, but it's early, and I was looking for my pin and everything. But, man,
look in the 4th of July decoration box. I bet they're in there. A little
empathy for –
no.
Yeah, man, I'm glad we won. I mean, haven't you ever, even in that 49-0 Iron Bowl win for Alabama when it was, 42-0 at halftime, weren't you sitting around I was about to say after the game, but midway through the third quarter at the local bar in Tuscaloosa with your buddies and saying, man, that had to really stink for all.
Now that because we've talked about this before, there was a point in that game I went, I'm kind of feeling sorry for the Augs today.
Thank you. Boy, he has a heart, ladies and gentlemen.
But man,
he did not feel comfortable. I was about to say he did not feel comfortable telling his buddies about it because they're all like, "What?
What did you just say?" I said, it's 42-0. I mean, you can tell Saban's taking his foot off the gas. They don't score but 7 points in the entire
Saban's calling Miss Terry up in the booth saying, "I want Courvoisier." Put some Sky vodka up there. I mean, he's making his post-game order.
CBS is going, can we flip to maybe another game here? This is brutal.
Yeah, they're going East Carolina versus Morehead
I've always
State.
Thought the Canadian flag was cool, the maple leaf, Air Canada looks cool on their planes. But I'm not, there's no sympathy here. I mean, Canadians been running their mouth a little bit lately. And I'm sure the president, who I understand was watching the game at Mar-a-Lago, he was in D.C. actually this weekend. Right. Somebody else was in Mar-a-Lago.
That wasn't supposed to be.
It wasn't supposed to be.
Yeah.
And, so that's awesome. So, love it. USA, glad to see it. 250th birthday coming up over the 4th of July. We can reminisce about the men and women beating the Canadians in the Winter Olympics. That's going to be awesome. So, that was great. Do want to see some of those clips, Bob, from Pike Road. If you know where I can see that, I'd love to see that.
I have not seen those.
Dr. B is checked in today. Dr. B, good to hear from you. Been a minute. He was, Dr. B was in 7th grade, he said, when watched that game.
What?
Yeah, Dr.
B says, morning, guys. Dr. B is back. I was 13 and in 7th grade watching the Miracle on Ice at my grandparents' cabin on Lake Harding. It was awesome. I remember, I was in Burlington, North Carolina, and we were watching it. And I can still name a lot of those guys, Jim Craig and Mike Eruzione and all those guys. Al Michaels did it. Al Michaels is now doing Prime Video games on the NFL. God bless him. We've got basketball to talk about as well. Yeah. Plenty of that. Bob from Pike Road. Alabama got a very important win, but the first thing is that, something about the Aubs.
Oh, yeah.
There is
Bill from Baltimore, Barry, on our River Region Straw chat line, asked a question if I had a feeling one way or the other about how that game ended. Well, as a matter of fact, I do.
Well, we will tell you about it. And again, like John and I have cautioned young broadcasters for years, beware of a live mic. Will Mark Pope get fined for saying something even though the microphone picked it up when he was walking away in the post-game press conference? We've got a lot to unpack, as they say. Here on the Monday edition of the show, I am finally back in my home studio for only, I think, the 4th time in the last 2.5 weeks.
Oh, boy. How's it?
So
nice
I'm
to be
in
home,
Troy. John is at his home studio. All is right with the world. It's Longshore McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Located just 8 miles north of Alabama's state capital, Capitol Hill features 3 18-hole championship courses. With more than 1,500 acres of golf and nature, the pure magnitude of this facility is amazing and allows each course to be drastically different from the others. Capitol Hill also features an innovative 360-degree driving range, 400 yards in diameter. Capitol Hill offers a fully stocked pro shop with the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com/Capitol Hill for tee times and more information.
It doesn't matter if you're running drills at the park, playing pickup on a Saturday, or sinking the final putt. When you compete with your friends with Michelob Ultra on the line, competition isn't that friendly. The trash talk, next level, and the stakes, those are crystal clear. With only 95 calories and superior smooth taste, it's the ultimate trophy. Superior is worth playing for. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025, Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
The Destin Connection Seafood Market at 3750 Norman Bridge Road in Montgomery has the freshest seafood direct from the Gulf of America. I'm talking red snapper and grouper, all sizes of Gulf shrimp, jumbo lump crab meat and crab claws, Louisiana Bay oysters, and New Bedford scallops. They are a full-service seafood market and kitchen serving po' boys, dinners, and sandwiches. You know, many well-known restaurants in the river region purchase their seafood from the Destin Connection because they know it's the absolute best. Call ahead and your order will be ready for pickup. The Destin Connection Seafood Market, 3750 Norman Bridge Road. Call 288-4272. That's 288-4272. Okay, welcome back in. About 20 minutes past the hour on this Monday. Glad you are with us here today. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Tell your friends, tell your business associates. Love for them to be a part of what we do here on Longshore and McKnight. Also, our affiliation with Yellowhammer News, yellowhammernews.com. You can check us out there. You can check out the write-up each and every afternoon about the show. Also at Facebook and YouTube and X and Instagram and Spotify and Apple Tunes and so many other places that you may watch and listen to your podcast. We are there. We certainly appreciate it. A lot of people, of course, enjoy our content throughout the day on their time, and that's what makes this format so special. Is we're live from 7 to 9, but you can watch and or listen when it's convenient for you. And I know a lot of people do that as they travel around throughout the day or during lunchtime or late in the afternoon, whenever it may be. We greatly appreciate it. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button.
All right, now to business. I didn't do the Saturday Troy baseball game because I was coming back. Troy loses to South Alabama, the other USA. And now final week of the regular year. For Sunbelt basketball, the SEC has 2 more weeks. Sunbelt tournament is next week. Troy will play tomorrow night at 6 at home at Trojan Arena, hallelujah, against Louisiana. Auburn and Alabama both
Where
won.
is the Sunbelt tournament?
It's in Pensacola, at the Pensacola Bay Center.
Yeah, know
downtown.
exactly where that is.
It's awesome. Great view from outside, and it's always about 50 degrees inside. Alabama beats LSU. That was expected.
That was kind of a boring game, Barry. It just was kind of boring.
Alabama wins it 90-83. Nothing really descriptive about that game. I mean, let's see.
Extremely late arriving crowd for that game, too, Barry. As a matter of fact, it was so late arriving, some of them just didn't even bother to show up.
Yeah, at the Maravich Assembly Center, LSU is 2-12 now in the SEC. They're 14-13 overall. The Maravich Assembly Center is outdated. It's like one of those old Carmike cinemas with the spongy seats that has the funk on it and everything.
Did that make our list of crappy arenas in the SEC we talked about last week?
Second worst. Georgia's the worst. Yeah. LSU's the second worst.
Yeah.
Number 15 out of 16. LSU actually led for the first 4 minutes. They led until the 15-22 mark of the first half. After that, it was all Alabama. Alabama wins 90-83. Only 7. Only 7. Led in points. Nobody scored 20. Holloway scored 17. That was about it. I mean, nothing to it.
It was kind of boring. It really was.
Alabama's still in a tie in second place in the league. Again, 2 weeks left in the regular year. Florida's 2 games ahead of everybody.
Sure.
The Gators are 12-2 and the best team in the league. Alabama is 10-4 in the league. So is Arkansas. So is Tennessee, who they've still got. Crimson Tide will return to play on Wednesday at home against Mississippi State.
And then we'll talk with Bart Heisch about it the next morning. That should be interesting.
I spent a lot of time with Bart on Saturday, face-to-face down in Mobile. Great guy.
Yeah.
Auburn.
He actually, Barry, I don't know if you even were aware of this game. Illinois and UCLA was a game he told me to watch on Saturday. Yeah.
Big Ten matchup.
Yeah, Big Ten. Now, Barry, this Auburn game, I know where we're going here.
We were headed that way.
There's been a lot of discussion about this game, particularly how it ended. But I see the ending a little different from most people.
Auburn wins.
Yeah.
John wants me to set it up. Auburn, so John can zing it in there. Auburn wins 75-74.
Yeah.
At home over Kentucky.
Yep.
Kentucky had control of that late, kind of a iffy foul against the Wildcats late, really factored into it. Auburn gets a stick back with 1 second to go, and Auburn gets out of there 75-74, breaking the 5-game losing streak, beating Kentucky, which Auburn historically never did very much. Auburn moves to now 15-12 overall, and now they're 6-8 in the league.
So, and it was brought up on the River Region Straw chat line. Hey, John, did you get any driveway time on Saturday? Unfortunately, I did not. I was busy doing something else, but I was watching the game. And that sequence right there, I would have loved to have been in the car listening to that. I'm sure that was interesting. But here's my deal. I don't have a problem with the Auburn player hooking the Kentucky player, which the reaction from the Kentucky player was, get off of me, man, and push the Auburn player, and the foul was called on the Kentucky player. Look, to me, that was textbook. I'm thinking, this kid's smart.
Respect.
Beautiful. Got to get the ball back.
Memories to John.
You know, it's always the second guy that gets caught. It's not the first guy. So the Auburn player's going with the little hook there, irritates the Kentucky player. His reaction is to push off. Great thinking, smart kid, love it. The only problem is the Auburn player, should have acted like he hit the floor so hard he was knocked out, he was unconscious, or he grabs his knee and he's wailing in excruciating pain.
Normally you see that.
He really isn't in pain, but he's acting like they're going to have to amputate his leg.
Don't they watch soccer?
Thing missing.
Don't they watch soccer? Don't they know how to do that?
So these people are complaining, message boards going crazy. I'm going, whoa, time out.
Give the guys some credit.
Longshore basketball, except for needed a little bit more acting. You need to sell it a little bit more, but obviously he sold it enough because they placed the T on the big blue. And as you mentioned, the head coach of Kentucky was not real happy about it.
Yeah. I wonder, we need to get a ruling from the SEC on what really counts as public discourse. Freeman for Auburn got an offensive rebound after Keyshawn Murphy, who played great, missed a layup. Freeman got the offensive rebound, stuck it back in with 1 second to go. 75-74, horn sounds, people go crazy. I don't know if they rushed the court or not, but to John's point.
I don't think they did rush the court.
After the game,
corner?
They always have, of course, post-game press conferences. Big media contingent there because it's Kentucky. And Kentucky coach Mark Pope, who's under a little bit of heat. Kentucky is now 8-6 in the SEC, and they're buried down there. They're 3.5 games, I think, behind, 2.5 games behind Alabama in second. And he was talking about it, and he was agitated, but he didn't say anything. John, he had the banquet table with the AU banner over the front and an AU thing in the back with yellow wood stickers on it and all that. I mean, so he's there, cameras everywhere, and he was fairly diplomatic, although you could tell he was peeved. And I've got to paraphrase this, John. He gets up, he stalks off. He's about to get off the riser, about to get off that stage.
Yeah.
And he says something along the lines of, I didn't say anything. If they want to find me for that, then screw them. I didn't say a word about how those Emmer,
You know,
effers.
here's how you handle
hang
that.
on. Here it is. Let me get it out first. I didn't say anything. If they want to find me, then screw them. I didn't say a word about how those MFers cheated us. Now, this is what, 7 or 8 feet off the stage.
Yeah.
If you listen real closely, like some people listen to Trooper Taylor or whoever it was, say Michael McNeil's name in stop frame, you could have heard it pretty clearly. So does the SEC step in? He's almost off the stage, and he says, I didn't say a word about how those MFers cheated us all game long.
Here's the way I see it. I was playing in a basketball game many moons ago, and I wanted the official to hear it, but I was not looking at the official. I was looking at my teammate, talking to my teammate, and said something like, that was the worst damn call I've ever seen in my life. That was pathetic. And the official said, one more like that, and I'm teeing you up. I said, I'm not talking to you. And he goes, well, I heard you. He goes, well, I heard you. And I thought, no, wait a minute. How can he tee me up for something I didn't even say to him directly? I was talking to somebody else. I'm thinking, so that just irritated me. I think he ended up fouling out 2 minutes later. I was so pissed. I said, you got to be kidding me. I wanted there again, I wanted the official to hear me. I just didn't look at him when I said it.
You're like, because that happened to me once in church league ball in North Carolina when I was the best player on our team. And they were knocking me all over the place. It's church league. And
the toughest games they ever played were in church league.
They called a foul on me. So I was screaming, and that was not a foul. That has never been a foul, and I'm not cussing. I don't do anything like that. And the referee gave me a technical.
Whoa.
And I said, I wasn't talking to you. I was yelling at my coach, which was untrue. But my coach was also the pastor of the church, of the youth group that I'd been going to. And he was jawing at him pretty well as well. And it got my coach. My coach was like, you were yelling at me? Huh. And he was a pastor, one of the finest men I ever knew. I just said that just so the referee might rescind the technical because I wasn't talking to him. 2 things. Number 1, I deserved it. Yeah. Number 2, referees never rescind technical.
No, they don't.
I mean, you could bring 18 character witnesses. Yeah. You can bring actual audio of the exchange, and they're not getting. So what do you do if you're the SEC? Do you say, okay, Mark Pope, you weren't officially in the camera shot anymore. You weren't officially in front of the microphone when you criticized a group of people that you described with 4 syllables. Does that count?
I would think they'd like for this to just kind of go away. I'm sure some reporter is going to bring it up again today or whenever they have their next media event.
Yeah.
Look, sticks and stones, stuff like that doesn't bother me. Come
on, Mr. Ref.
These officials are so sensitive and thin-skinned, and just don't say anything about their mother or their wife, and everything's okay. Get over it. I mean, some of the stuff we've heard football coaches say,
and
we've heard it from officials that have told us that, both in college and the NFL. Well, there again, basketball coaches are just got rabbit ears, and I know, you're right on top of each other, and the dimensions are smaller than in a football game and whatnot, but come on, suck it up, Buttercup.
Well, Auburn, again, they get the win. They beat Kentucky. The losing streak is over. Auburn is 15-12, 6-8, and according to our buddy Jerry Palm of CBSSports.com bracketology, in case you're wondering, of course, Alabama is in. Alabama's really good. He's got Alabama as a 4 seed in the East in the same regional with Duke, in the same pod or whatever, with Duke and Vanderbilt and Yale and Clemson. He's got Auburn in as a 9 seed. Auburn's not one of the last 4 in. Auburn's not one of the first 4 out. Auburn is a, by gosh, solid 9 seed in the same regional with UConn, or the same pod with UConn and Wisconsin and Appalachia.
Well, that can change, daily, obviously. Auburn goes to
winning.
Norman, Oklahoma, a team that they should beat, but it is on the road on Wednesday.
No, Tuesday. They play tomorrow. They got a short
week.
Yeah. We're getting to that point of the year, too, where you get to the last week or two and they start moving some of the games forward on a consistent basis, to give everybody some extra rest for the tournament, which is coming up in, again, a little bit less
in
than
Nashville.
2 weeks.
So that'll, that's so short week. Got to go to Norman. I'm sure probably on their way leaving right now. Got to get there early, Can't be late.
I don't get this. I never have gotten TV assignments or anything like that. I've never gotten the concept behind it. Auburn plays on Tuesday at 8 on ESPNU. Tuesday at 8 on ESPNU. That's obscure. Alabama, John mentioned this, they play at home on Wednesday against Mississippi State at 8 o'clock on ESPNU. What's up with that?
Barry, the announcers for the Alabama LSU game were pathetic. I don't know what's happened to the SEC network. I mean, they used to have some really good announcers.
John still remembers Joe Dean.
Never heard them. They were not any good. I mean, fellas, I don't even want to do that. I'm too old for that. But get some guys that are energetic and are easier to listen to. I've been bringing this up all season long. I don't know where the old crew went. And they still, Jimmy Dykes is still around. I think he might have done, what game was he? Maybe he did the Auburn game. Matter of fact, I think he did on Saturday, if I'm not mistaken.
I've worked with Jimmy Dykes.
I think he's good. There's a young kid, or I say young kid, a younger kid. I think he might have played at Arkansas as well. That does as a color analyst. I think is good.
Pat Bradley? No,
he's in the studio now with Fish.
Yeah, the Alabama LSU play-by-play team on the SEC network was Roy Philpott and Rodney Terry.
Was Roy Philpott's father the president of Auburn many years ago?
No, that's Dr. Harry Philpott, who I interviewed one time.
Yeah.
as a young player. Rodney Terry is the former head coach of the University of Texas. He only was there for
he's not very good.
Years.
I was not impressed.
No energy for that one. Is that what you're telling me?
Tom Hart and those guys are good.
Yeah.
There again, there's a younger guy that's been doing it for a couple of years. I believe he played at Arkansas.
Let's see. You got Pat Bradley. I like Dane Bradshaw.
Maybe
some of those guys.
Where did he play collegiately?
Oh yeah, he played at Tennessee.
Maybe that's who the guy I'm talking
about.
Yeah,
I like him a lot. Cool. I think he's with him a pretty good.
But we got to get Fish back on the floor. I mean, the studio stuff, Pat Bradley and Fishback need to be calling games, not in the studio, because they are losing a little bit there. So in wrapping up, I know there was a lot of controversy about the way the Auburn-Kentucky game ended. But there again, I thought the Auburn player defended beautifully. Put the hook on, antagonize the Kentucky player, then you get the reaction of the pushback, you flop on the floor, you wail around a little bit, ref calls a foul on Kentucky Blue, Auburn gets the ball back, wins the game, beautiful. I mean,
1 second to go?
Yeah, what an ending. It was great.
Any problem with that? And the post-game press conference was good. It was Tom Hart and Jimmy Dykes who were doing the game on TV on ESPN. Thank you, Kentucky. And of course, Andy Burcham and Randall Dickey on radio for the.
I missed that. I missed that duo, as I mentioned earlier. Couldn't get any driveway time. But I bet it was good at the end of the game. I just missed it. Sorry. Somebody usually sends me like a video clip. They have a camera on the table, and it's usually they send it to me, but based on how this game ended, I probably won't get that this week.
You're slackers, guys. Come on, John's executive VIP text line. You're a little slow here. Lots
Hey,
more.
Bob from Pike Road, thank you. Bob did text me. It was actually a phone call. The president called the hockey team and congratulated them. And Bob, appreciate that. He forwarded that to me.
There you
so
go.
I appreciate that. Good stuff.
I like that.
Love our listeners and viewers. They're always they participate a lot, which we greatly appreciate. That's what it's all about. We love your participation either on our River Region Straw chat line or our VIP text line. Or our email inbox, Longshore and McKnight at gmail.com.
It is Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Love is in the air, and so is your chance to win during Victoryland Casino's BMW and 25K giveaway. Drive away in a brand new BMW or win your share of $25,000 in free play. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Stop by the Players Club and fall in love with this month's exciting free play promotions. There's more ways to win at Victoryland Casino, where you can be a winner too. Located off I-85 exit 22 in Shorter, Alabama. Drawings February 27th and 28th. Must be 21 or older. Must be present to win.
Why Hands? At Hands Heating and Air, you get this area's highest ranked service provider with 24-hour repair service, no overtime charges, and their same-day service guarantee. Plus, instead of other companies' 30-day repair warranty, Hands gives you a 3-year repair warranty. Hands Heating and Air is here for you 24/7, 365. And service is not just something they do, it's their way of operating, for you in mind. All of Hands employees are trained to adhere to this standard. They work hard to ensure that this standard is maintained, and they are constantly looking for new ways to better serve you. Call Hands Heating and Air today at 508-5382. That's 508-5382, or find them on the web at 834hands.com. All righty, welcome back in, everybody. Glad you are with us here on this Monday, kicking off a brand new week. A lot going on, a lot happening. And we appreciate all of our input here. A lot about the USA hockey team winning gold yesterday. Bob did send me a clip of that. I appreciate that. I understand the president's trying to get the hockey team buried to the State of the Union address tomorrow night. That would be nice. Congratulate them in front of the crowd there. Let the whole country see them tomorrow night. That'd be cool.
But, then, I mean, do they bring both hockey teams?
Well,
both American gold medal winning hockey teams?
I'll tell you this, Barry, if they don't, somebody's going to complain about it. So, yes, I think you should bring them both.
Absolutely. I mean, they both are deserving. No big difference there. I just thought it was, it was at a good time. A little something for America. We're doing all right.
The country needs it. Yeah, how about that?
Yeah. Country needs it. I mean, we're still getting punked by Norway.
Come on.
Norway getting beaten by anybody. I mean, the United States not really good at losing things or not winning things. They don't really like that. They're never really comfortable with it. And it's not like they're losing to Norway. They're beating everybody in the world except Norway. And I think Norway has set a Winter Olympics record with the number of medals won. But come on. Norway is like losing to Elmore County, I mean, it's about the same size. What is one germane, well-known fact about Norway? What does anybody know? The capital of Norway, what language they speak?
Barry, it's kind of like you said
famous
earlier.
Norway people. I mean, we're losing to them, John.
See, Norway, Denmark, and Sweden are kind of all there together.
Yeah.
And I actually spent several weeks in Denmark 40 plus years ago when I spent a summer in Europe, and I was in Denmark for about a week of that trip. And one day we took a boat. What body of water is that?
That would be the Baltic Sea.
I think it was. I was about to say, I just didn't want to say the wrong body of water, but I believe it is the Baltic Sea.
Oh, I know it's the Baltic Sea.
Day.
I just,
And I thought it was cool because, we went to Norway for the day. I think we had lunch or something, but I wanted to get my passport stamped. The guy, when we went in, he just looked at it. And I said, hey, do you mind stamping that? I want you to stamp it because I want it, when I go back and, oh, yeah, remember that day we went to Norway? So that's about all I can tell you about Norway.
I bet that guy gets that. I bet that guy gets that all the time. You know, hey, you ain't got to stamp your passport in Norway, but people say, hey, can you stamp my passport? He probably got something from Party City or from the Dollar Tree or something with either a little smiley face or, Mickey Mouse or something.
Yeah.
And he just got it himself because everybody kept asking him. He just stamped it. Hey, all right. See, I got this one. I was in Latvia. I was in Sweden. Hey, have you been to the Disney World? And you're like, no, he got me.
I'm a big stamp guy. I like it to be stamped. I was in Mexico last summer. I asked the guy, hey, could you please stamp my passport? He looked at me like, most people don't want their passport stamped with Mexico on it. I went, well, I'm not most people. Stamp that bad boy. Let's go.
The main reason why, I can tell you right now, is because there was, I don't know if it was Dr. No or if it was Goldfinger or if it was From Russia with Love. But John, as a small child, saw James Bond pull out his passport, and some beautiful knockout woman who, for some reason, is working in customs at an airport, she stamped it. And John says, by gosh, when I get older, I'm going to get my passport stamped as much as I can.
If you think about it, Barry, when in Diamonds Are Forever, when Bond enters Amsterdam, when he's in the Netherlands, Moneypenny is there at the customs control. Figure that. How's that work? He was actually the alias of Peter Franks, and she looks at the passport and stamps it and says, Mr. Franks, your papers are in order. Have a good day. Got it stamped right there by Moneypenny.
See, that's another cool thing. I've never had it. Again, I travel a ton, but I've never been outside the United States. I've never breathed the air as a citizen in a foreign country. Here, I'm not even under United States jurisdiction, any of that. I've never had a passport. I've never had my passport signed. The only time I ever have had anybody say even anything remotely like, Mr. McKnight, your papers are in order. Mm-hmm. Nobody ever says that to me. I remember one time I broadcast a basketball game at Thompson Bowling Arena in Knoxville.
You had to have a passport to go to Knoxville?
No, but I had a credential, and the lady double-checked my credential, and she says, this looks good. I was doing the television play-by-play, and I'm thinking, I told her, I said, if you don't let me in, it's going to be awfully funny having a game without a broadcaster. And she says, I suppose this isn't. That's as close as I've ever come. I want somebody to say, Mr. McKnight, your papers appear to be in order.
Well, Barry, when you do,
I never have anything cool
and
like
I highly recommend it. When you do travel abroad, even if you go, even heck, Canada or Mexico is not abroad, but you got to have a passport. Caribbean, you do. Make sure you go through the duty-free store in the airport. Highly recommend that. Got to go duty-free.
Before, I have no idea.
Got to go to duty-free. So you got to give yourself a little extra time with your connection to stop by duty-free. Big fan of that. And, it's interesting, Barry, you can only take liquids of a certain size, on a plane, they tell you, like shaving cream or lotions, but you can take a fifth of vodka on a plane. You can take a fifth of bourbon on a plane.
How's that work?
Well, it's interesting. You used to go buy your duty-free liquor and then just take it with you out of the store. But they, you look at your boarding pass. They make sure that you're where you're going, where you're flying. So you buy that's why you got to go a little earlier. You buy what you want. And if you're buying makeup or candy or cigarettes or something like that, they'll let you take those with you. But they bag it up. And then they have people that take the purchases to the individual gates. And as you go through, as you check your boarding pass at the counter, as you're walking down the jetway, there's a person from that duty-free store handing out the bags that you purchased before you get on the plane.
Where is the place that you've been to around the world outside the United States that you felt was the least civilized? I know you've been to Japan and all that kind of stuff, a place where you're thinking, man, I am at the end of the earth right here. Where, riding in a converted school bus in Burma with a bunch of chickens or something like that. I've seen, the least civilized place I've ever been to in my life was Athens, Georgia, but that was,
that's an interesting question. The first thing that pops to my mind, not that it's uncivilized, but there are places in the Caribbean. I mean, there were some places in Mexico. I was there last summer. As you travel from the airport to wherever you're going, your hotel or wherever, you go through some areas that look, wow, man, do they have running water there? Do they have internet service there? I mean, but they seem happy as they can be, and who can blame them? I mean, it's beautiful scenery and weather's great, but and whatnot. But there are areas like that you kind of go, So you're going from the airport to the hotel, and in between you might see some areas, but nothing that you felt, afraid of, or you were in a bad place. It was just not as maybe modern as some other places that you had been. So that's the first thing that comes to mind. But there's really no place that I've ever felt that I'm thinking, I was in Aruba years ago, Barrett. I had an ear infection. The hotel sent me to this place to get my ear checked out. Basically, they had to get the wax out of it. I think the plane ride. It was. I mean,
rough. was it like a doctor, or was it somebody with?
It was kind of a doc in the box kind of place, if you will, but it wasn't like, in a strip mall or, in a shopping center. So the taxi picks me up at the hotel, and we're driving to this place. And from the hotel to this place, I'm looking around going, where in the world is this doctor? And we're getting closer, and I'm seeing goats and chickens and stuff running around in the street. And I'm thinking, what's the deal here? And the guy lets me out, and I see the doc in the box place. It looks like a legitimate business, but right next door, it's like some Wally's service station in Mayberry. I'm thinking, what is going on here? And the guy took care of me, got my ear feeling good. It was all good and whatnot. But that kind of, wow, if this guy drops me off here, there's no way I can make it back to the hotel. I won't remember. Yeah. And I think I've shared this one with you before, Barry. I was in Cancun many, many years ago and got bumped from my flight. So they flew us to Mexico City back to Atlanta. And we had to fly Mexicana or Aeromexico or wherever from Cancun to Mexico City, which was a domestic flight, obviously, flying within Mexico. So we walked to a different terminal in the Cancun airport. We get into this big departure hall. It's like 8 flights leaving from one area. I kid you not, the guy's making the gate announcements with a bullhorn. And there are chickens running through the terminal.
Oh, yeah. I remember you telling that. That's the thing I remember about it is John was saying, were people bringing their chickens onto the...
Well, no, but we walk out on the tarmac. There's several planes lined up, ready to go. I had to make sure I got on the correct one to Mexico City. And the plane next to us, it's like the military, the Mexican army shows up, and they're storming the plane. And I'm thinking, oh, my God, what are we doing here? What is going on? Get on the plane, take off. They actually served a meal. I didn't realize Cancun was that far from Mexico City. And they plopped something down in front of me. I mean, I'm expecting something to be wiggling in there. And I went, I'm out. Not eating this. Could not get on Delta Airlines quick enough when we got into Mexico City. So that was kind of a tough experience, but it all played out okay.
I remember we were on a Troy basketball trip. Troy played in the San Juan shootout down in San Juan, Puerto Rico. As a matter of fact, we were talking about that about 2 weeks ago. We'll try to cut the story down. We stayed at the Hotel Coronado in San Juan, which is right on obviously the river.
Yep.
But the tournament, it had fallen on hard times. The tournament was in Caguas, Puerto Rico, which is inland, right in the middle of the island.
Oh, how far from Puerto Rico?
Huh?
How far of a drive from Puerto Rico?
It was in Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico is a big island. You can't drive from Puerto Rico.
No, I'm sorry. Excuse me. How far from San Juan?
About an hour.
Yeah,
about an hour inland in Caguas. And I had to get there early for some reason. I forget what. And my great friend, best friend, Bobby Templin, who is my pastor now, but was the athletic trainer, he came with me.
Okay.
And
That was good. That was good. That was probably a safe idea.
I spoke. I took Spanish in high school. I was a pretty good student. I took Spanish in high school, so he a little. I think it was a Fierro or something like that. In the middle of Puerto Rico. I spoke the language, but high school level, and we got lost. So they got a CVS. I get to Caguas, about an hour's drive. I get to Caguas. There's a CVS, and I go inside, trying to find out where in the world. The name of the arena, I'll never forget it, was Coliseo Hector Solabasares.
How about that?
Coliseo Hector Solabasares. And so I walked in, and she says, "Hola, ¿cómo está?" And I said, "Muy bien. Por favor, los direcciones a Coliseo Hector Solabasares." And she says, "Oh, izquierda and esta calle." And I'm thinking, "Oh, más despacio, por favor. No muy rápido."
I'm impressed with your Spanish.
And so I finally, she wrote it down, but she wrote it down in Spanish. And I come out to Bobby, and Bobby does not speak Spanish. And we found our way to that arena, and it was the dumpiest arena I have ever seen in my life.
This must have been before Waze and GPS and stuff like that.
Oh, my gosh, yeah, way back then. Anyway, long story short, about 3 weeks ago, Troy was playing basketball at home, and right next to my broadcast area are the expensive seats. You know, they sell those, the folding seats right on the court. And I'm looking over there at this guy. He's talking to somebody else, and he looks so familiar. And I walked over there, and I said, "Hey, are you Marquise Daniels?" And he said, "Yes, I am." I said, "I'm Barry McKnight. I'm the voice of Troy and everything." I said, "The last time I saw you in person was at Coliseo Hector Solabasares in Caguas, Puerto Rico." I said, Auburn played Troy in the championship game, and you scored 36. And he looked at me dead in the eye. I said, "Do you remember that?" He said, "I scored 40.
Ooh. Whoa.
And, of course, Marquise has had some tragedy relatively recently, lost his wife and all that. But he remembered that, and he corrected me. I'm thinking, what are the odds that I'm running into anybody outside of Troy?
It's interesting, Barry, because Puerto Rico's like the largest piece of land in the Caribbean. I mean, there's nothing close to the size of Puerto Rico.
It's way, way, way east. I did the show from there. John and I did the show from there. It's way east, and it was about, back in those days, we went on at 7 o'clock. It was like 11 o'clock in the morning, 10 or 11 in the morning.
And it's about a 2.5 hour, 3 hour flight from Atlanta. So it's down there a bit. It's a big island compared to the other ones. But most everybody lives on the coast.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, not many people live inland in Puerto Rico. So I'm thinking, wow, man, you were in kind of like no man's land.
It's the biggest inland town. It was about half the size of Montgomery, but yeah. So, and that's the closest I've ever come to thinking, all right, here I am in a country that does not speak English. I took Spanish, high school junior, high school senior, and I'm driving with a very smart guy, but he doesn't speak Spanish. ¿Dónde está el Coliseo de Hector Solabasares?
Well, at least, there are a lot of American flags in Puerto Rico. They're all over the place.
They take dollar bills. They take American money, and there is no taxes.
No customs, no
if
passport.
That lady, if you go over there to a restaurant and your bill comes to $39.50, you pay $39.50.
Yes. Ty, yes, Puerto Rico, I do believe landmass wise is bigger than Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico may be longer.
Cuba.
I don't think it is, or Cuba, excuse me. Puerto Rico is bigger than Cuba. Landmass definitely, maybe tip to tip. Cuba could be a little longer, but I don't believe it is. How about this one, Barry? This one brought back some memories.
Yeah, from Tobias. He says, I was stationed in Guam in 2003, and I remember my cab driver thought Auburn was in West Georgia and not in Alabama. You got to go to Guam for that?
Or
John
Boise,
knows a lot of places. Yeah, or Des Moines, Iowa.
Yeah.
Tim Brando one time was on the air with us, and he was talking about, you go to Des Moines, Iowa, and you go to the cab, and he's going to want to know about, hey, you're from Alabama, roll tide. That was nauseating. Let's take a break here, top of the hour.
When we come back at the top of the next hour, getting into hour number 2, there's something I thought a lot about over the weekend, about the state of college athletics. Watching basketball, thinking about football, and we're going to get into our starting five also in the next hour. It's Mississippi State today. But I thought about something about the state of athletics collegiately, mainly football and basketball, and how athletics is today, in my mind, kind of relates to things that happen in people's lives from time to time, and how there's going to be some changes, or will there be, to make things better, because I just don't think a lot of people out there think they are. I'll explain when we return.
It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Ram Truck Month is here at Stivers, Alabama's #1 volume CDJR dealer. New Rams, 19 grand off or 0% for 6 years, and heavy duties, 14 grand off. Backed by Ram's 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. Only at Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. The President's Day sales event is on at Stivers, Alabama's #1 volume CDJR dealer. Grand Cherokees under 27 grand, or up to 15 grand off. Wranglers, 14 grand off, and Gladiators 16 grand off. Only at Stivers, Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.
Hey, where's the beer guy? Bud Light here? You got a Bud Light? Bud Light? I'm here, Bud Light. Bud Light here? Bud Light here? Bud Light here? Bud Light where? Bud Light here? Oh, Bud Light there. I missed that because of you. You did not miss that play because of me. Tough to stop talking this way? Yeah. It's actually kind of fun. Hey, I got your Bud Light. Oh, nice. Never mind. Anything for the clean, crisp taste of Bud Light. What I miss? I have no idea.
At Dixie Overhead Door, we specialize in top-quality garage door solutions for homes across Alabama and Georgia. In need of a garage door repair or a brand new garage door installation, our expert team delivers fast, reliable service with local expertise that you can trust, providing customized solutions and exceptional care every step of the way. Visit us today at DixieOverheadDoor.com and experience the Dixie difference.
Okay, kicking off hour number 2. So glad you're with us here today. Longshore McKnight. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We really appreciate that. Yeah, I was talking about it before we went to the break, and we talk about this a lot, and it's on people's minds, and they're kind of wondering about what's going to happen in terms of college football, college basketball to some extent, whether you're in the SEC, the Sun Belt, the Mountain West, or the Big Ten. Everybody's talking about it. Every conference, they're wondering what the future is going to be like. NIL, is it sustainable? Transfers, is it a good idea? Athletes not playing. We talked about that last week, the young man at Kansas. I wouldn't touch that game tonight. They're hosting Houston. Houston's a favorite in Lawrence, Kansas tonight. Why? Because don't know if that kid's going to play or not. Might start, but, after 10 minutes, I'm done.
If it's a big game and everything, I mean, if it's a battle between top 10 teams and there's great visibility for it and a national TV audience, I may play. But let's face it, if it's against UCF at their place, my ankle hurts.
Sure. So we've got all that going on. And schools are asking their fans and alums for money. We need you to join our collective. We got to pay these guys. No, wait a minute. We're paying guys who are college athletes, 6-figure deals, 7-figure deals. They can transfer whenever they want to, multiple times, 5, 6, 7 times. We've seen that happen. They're going to mention kids not wanting to play. Comes to bowl season, I'm not playing. I'm opting out. I'm not going to play in a worthless, meaningless bowl game. And long ago, bowl games were a big deal, meant something special. And I know what people will say. Well, the game has never been more popular. Is that based just on television ratings? I know the TV ratings are good. But is that why the game's more popular? Is it more popular because more people are going to the games? Are ticket sales greater today than they were 10 years ago, 5 years ago? I hear that phrase, the game has never been more popular. What's that based on? TV ratings? Okay. But Barry, I look at it this way. I think there's a lot of people out there in this world that think of college athletics today something like you're in a relationship that you know is doomed. You know, whether you're, high school girlfriend or a marriage or whatever, you're trying to make it work. You really don't want what you know is coming to happen, but you know it's going to happen. Or you're in a job that's going nowhere. I'm doing the same old thing every day. And I just don't see me moving up any. I just kind of doing this. They're not really helping me out. They're just patting me on the back and going, man, love what you're doing, but you don't see any growth potential. Yeah. And is that from a personal experience? Well, maybe. But anyway, I kind of look at it that way. Is the state of college athletics that, I've enjoyed my time with her, but I can see what's coming. This job's been okay, but I don't see anything really getting any better. And that's the way I see college athletics. We're already hearing about, fans and supporters and donors are already stretched to the limit. They've already had enough. The frustration is already there. So how can they sustain it? That's a word you hear a lot of. It is unsustainable. And is it just going to have to crash and burn before something is done? We hear about Congress needs to step in. I've mentioned these powerful athletic directors and these presidents putting more pressure to get something done. I just don't see a good ending here, Barry.
There's a lot of people making suggestions. Oh, we need to have, again, the number one suggestion is we've got to have Congress involved. So we have uniform rules for everybody across the country. We can't have this state passing rules that say NIL money received by student athletes is non-taxable. There are some states that have done that. I think Missouri, there are some states that are thinking about doing that, including Alabama. And people are saying, wait a minute. These guys get to go to school for free and they get great medical care and everything, and their money is not taxable. Meanwhile, I'm working digging ditches over here and sweating in the hot sun, and I'm lucky to get a sandwich and a cup of coffee at lunch, and they're taxing the bejeebers out of mine. But we got to have national rules. We got to get Congress involved. Now, I'm not one necessarily to expect the government to solve my problems for me, to fight my battles for me. There's a lot of people who, they think the federal government should be involved in every aspect of their lives, which I am not in favor of. There are people who say, we need to have collective bargaining with the student athletes. We need to have that. We need to have the students be employees. Do you know what the big issue with that is? Negatively, why that's not going to happen is because the student athletes don't want it. They don't want to be employees. They don't want to get fired or get fined for poor performance.
Yeah.
They don't want collective bargaining. Wait a minute. I'm getting paid as much as that guy, and I'm averaging 24 points. He's averaging 9. Well, you and he are part of the same pool. Wait a minute. I can't negotiate my own deal? No, you have agreed to negotiate collectively. Student athletes don't want that. So there's no great solution. It's a complex problem. And normally, again, I'm not one to believe in the federal government being the one to step in and handle every aspect of our lives, including the private sector, that we ought to be able to handle ourselves. And I do think that the federal government has a lot more important things to deal with than NIL and the transfer portal. But I do think there has to be some basic.
Well, and you also hear guys that are well respected. People listen to them. People watch them. People know who they are. The Kirk Herbstreits of the world, that are the face of college football. And when Herbstreit comes out and says, we've got to make some changes, this is unsustainable, Something has got to be done. And I go back, I've heard that. How much longer are we going to hear something has got to be done? The president of Ohio State University made a comment last week, basically saying there's only about 5 schools that can do what's going on right now over a long period of time.
That can sustain it.
And he even mentioned it'll catch up to us as well. But he believes there's only about 5 schools that can really, really do what needs to be done and can generate the money that needs to be generated. And
over and over and over and over.
And you can probably guess the 5 that he was thinking about. And it wasn't Alabama. And it wasn't Auburn. And it wasn't Florida or Tennessee or Georgia. So if I'm Greg Sankey, I'm thinking, there again, it's like that relationship that's doomed. That job that that's going nowhere. They know it's coming. I don't know why are we tap dancing around it. They know what is coming. The president of Ohio State knows what's coming. But he's in a position that we're going to last a lot longer than the vast majority of these other programs because we can handle it longer. And I'm sure Texas and Texas A&M and Michigan and Notre Dame probably can as well. But not forever.
And, you ask the question, how is it most popular? Well, it's eyeballs. The whole thing is television driven. It's not fans in the stands. That's secondary. It's I want the matchups on TV, whether it's football, basketball, that draw the most eyeballs. That's Michigan and Duke last weekend. I don't think they would have cared if 5,000 people showed up. It's all about the TV eyeballs, and that's part of the sedentary society we live in. People don't get out and, participate in the world as much as they used to.
I mean, there's some markets in the NFL that are packed every week. There's some that aren't, but they're watching on TV. Some guy in Fresno, California, that's got 500 on the Carolina Panther Tampa Bay Buck game, and there's 25,000 people at the stadium. Don't care. I'm watching it. Got a bet on the game. I'm all in.
There are people in college specifically, college football fans, college basketball fans. The vast majority of them aren't paying for the big name athletes. They're not shelling out the changing money that'll draw an All-American to your school. They're out there saying, man, isn't it great that Indiana won the national championship? I think it's good for the little guy to win a national championship. Well, Indiana spent a ton on NIL, and, they paid for it. They just signed Curt Cignetti to a contract extension that'll pay him $13 million a year through 2033. $13 million at Indiana. So people, they watch that game and they say, look at Cignetti, look at him scowled at that referee. That's great. They don't care that he's making $13 million. No. They don't care that Ryan Williams got paid whatever it was, $3 million last year. They care that he kept dropping passes, but they're watching the games, and people by and large, they watch the NFL. They don't worry about, that guy counted against our salary cap last year. We're still paying him his guarantee when he was under contract with us 2 years ago, and we had to make him an unrestricted free agent. They don't care about that. They want to see the players wearing their uniform colors out there on the floor, and they don't care that this guy cost $1.5 million to come play at your school, and he couldn't give 2 toots about your school otherwise. It is more popular than ever before because people gripe about the transfer portal. They gripe about how much money it is. But when it comes down to watching their team play or rooting for their team, they're going to root for their team. They're going to root for the brands. They're going to root for the big names, and nobody cares about how much money this guy's getting paid.
But if your team is not performing to the level that you expect, and they're asking you to spend more money, seat licensing, ticket, collectives, whatever else goes into being a fan. And there again in football, it's a whole weekend. You're devoting a lot of time and money. And if you're not winning, fans aren't happy. But if the game is more popular now than it ever has been, is it popular because of about 25 teams, or is it popular across the board? Are Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night games as popular as a Saturday night primetime game, or the ABC 2:30 game on Saturday afternoon? I don't think they are. So, as I've been saying for months now, will the big boys, if you will, ultimately have to split off that garner these big ratings, that make all this money for these networks, and go do their own thing if they're going to be able to remain at the level that they want to be at? Because I just don't see, there again, I just see like a relationship, that's doomed, a job that's going nowhere. I'm tired of the talk. And something's got to happen. And does that mean as we've talked about, you've got a group of 5 doing their thing, and you got the Power 4 doing theirs? I know that's very controversial and people don't like to hear it. I could certainly see that happening.
I would hate to see it happen. I would hate, because we would have lost our way. Again, like we had the conversation, we have totally lost sight at that point of what college is supposed to be, of what a university's job is, what a university's main reason for existence is. We have lost sight of what athletics should be in college. Are you having your own small professional league that the only connection with the college is that maybe they live in the same town and maybe they wear the uniform of their college team? Other than that, these are professional athletes playing at the behest of a school as a private contract employee, who have about as much connection to the school as the guy who, sweeps the floor at midnight
and I think we've kind of already lost our way.
We have.
If we're paying college athletes 6-7 figures, are they walking across the quad going to a class like all the most regular students? No. Occasionally, but not like a regular student. Transferring at a drop of a hat, not playing because I'm worried about my professional future. I think we've already lost our way. And the only reason I think that we could be heading to this split is because we've screwed up so badly with NIL and transfers and all this other business. This might be the only way to save them. Because you can't hit the reset button.
You can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. I agree with you there. It reminds me of that speech by Jimmy Stewart, who played George Bailey in It's a Wonderful Life, when he's railing at Mr. Potter, and he says, "Let me tell you something. This rabble you're talking about, they do most of the working and paying and living and dying in this town. Is it too much to ask that they work and pay and live and die in a couple of nice rooms and a bath? The vast majority of the student athletes in the NCAA are there trying to get their degree. They're playing sports either as a pastime because they enjoy it or because that's what's paying for their schooling. What we're talking about are just there's a lot of it going on, but the tip of the iceberg are the people who are making $1 million, $1.5 million, and something like that, and have no connection to the school other than that. If they want to break away, those are the ones who ultimately have lost the sight of what this is really supposed to be all about. Because the vast majority of them, they aren't making, more than $5,000 a year, $10,000. Sure, they could make more money in work study sometimes.
I love to talk about sports, whether it's what's happening on the field, what's happening off the field. I like discussing and talking about it all. The business aspect of college athletics. I don't mind that as well. But I will say, is my interest in the games diminished? Yeah. I mean, I don't, watch as I used to, and I'm just, I cannot miss it. I will, but does it affect me? No. Does the outcome of a game affect me one way or the other? No, it doesn't. 40 years ago, yeah, it did. 30 years ago, probably so. 20 years ago, maybe not so much. 10, nah. So the outcome of the play on the field just doesn't grab me like it used to. And I'm thinking, should it? Should I feel that way? Should I admit that? And maybe I've seen so much sports that I'm kind of, it's kind of been diluted somewhat. And I do think the athletes are better today than I've ever seen.
I agree.
But there's just something about it that I'm thinking, I just remember the old days, and guys were playing because they loved their school and they wanted to bust their tail and make their coaches and mamas and daddies proud of them. And they weren't thinking about going to the NFL. They were thinking about a career outside of athletics.
I get it. I honestly do get it. I'm around student athletes all the time. Over the last 2 weeks, I've been on a bus for about 2,000 miles with a bunch of them. I'm around a bunch of football players all the time, even when there's not a game going on. And, everybody's not talking about NIL. They're not sitting around with each other on the bus or sitting around in the auditorium saying, wait a minute, you got how much? Man, my deal's only what? That's not the big thing they're talking about. And I'm telling you, they're not talking about it amongst each other a ton at Auburn and Alabama and all that. That's kind of a unspoken thing right now. But when you lose a game you shouldn't lose, it just still kills them. Or when some guy, gets hurt and that's still, there's a personal aspect. But there's a small group of them up there that all they care about is, like this Darren Peterson for Kansas. All right, I'm making a ton of money to be at Kansas this year. How much can I get away with not playing so I can get my money and still, put myself into position to be eligible as a number one pick in the draft? There's a very few people who think of it that way. There are a lot more fans and a lot more boosters who think of it than the student athletes think of it. And I think, at some point, I don't know how to do it.
I mean, Barry,
you've got to get back to rationality.
I heard a lot of people mumbling about him last fall. Dropping passes, making $1 million. Does he really care about the team? Is he going to transfer? Is this really where he wants to be? He's thinking too much about his future than he is the now. I heard a lot of that last fall. And when you're not delivering and you're dropping passes or not scoring touchdowns, you're going to get it. People know what you're making. They have a ballpark of what you're making. I mean, it gets out, whether you're on the exact dollar amount, but you're close. Is that good? Well, this guy's making $1 million. He can't catch a pass. Is that what college athletes should be experiencing?
Well, again, somebody's paying him that $1 million. I go back to Moses Malone, who says if the owner says it's cool, it's cool. He didn't hold a weapon.
I get it, sure, but Joe Bob sitting in section double G on the 10. And he's the one that's going to be screaming and hollering, how come you dropped that pass? You're making $1 million.
Thurston Winthorpe III, who's sitting up there in the terrazzo box up there, he's calling Greg Gurn on Monday, and he's saying, you told me that you needed $400,000 to help pay for this guy. I'm a businessman. I'm a wealthy businessman. I didn't make my money by not expecting a return on my investment. I ain't getting a return on this investment, and you want me to continue this investment?
Boom.
From the business aspect of it, that's the most germane point of the whole deal. This guy is not worth the money that Greg Gurn or that John Cohen has pleaded with me to pay for him. And I guarantee you, if they come back next year with this guy and say, hey, we need to give him a raise, or some other guy and they say we need to give him $400,000, I'm saying, Greg, I gave you $400,000 for this guy, and he dropped 4 passes in the Tennessee game. I ain't doing it again.
Give me some other examples. I mean, the first thing that came to my mind was that hot girl in high school. You just couldn't wait to ask her out. You finally do. You go out for 4 or 5 months. That 6th month rolls around. You go, man, cuckoo. You're figuring out, I got to get out of this. Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. That laugh, like Seinfeld. Beautiful girl. He goes out on a date. They hit it off. She's funny. She's engaging. They talk all night. She takes him back to her apartment. And he's thinking, boy, this is going to be great. He looks at her and she eats a fly.
Yes.
And you're thinking,
or she has man hands.
Yeah. Or, the annoying laugh or something. I mean, she's, and they've had a great time. She's a wonderful girl, smart, intelligent, beautiful, and everything. And she pops that fly into her mouth. And I mean, the whole thing crashes down. So you're paying thinking, this kid looks great in the uniform. He practices hard. Right. He's a 5-star and everything. You got a 3rd down conversion you have got to get in order to get that game-winning drive going at Georgia, and he drops the pass. That's the equivalent of eating that fly.
Yeah. Or you're in a job and it's heading nowhere. That's the way I feel about college athletics. You know what's coming. How do we get it corrected? I did not know this, Barry. This is there again, Tobias, with all the great insight and info.
Yep.
In 2025, Ryan Williams had more drop passes than the entire Indiana team combined. How's that 7-figure deal settling in with you now, Bama fan?
Does he get it renewed, or do they come in and say, Ryan, let's take a look at the numbers, shall we? And I don't know.
You're being too hard on the kid. Not when he's making 7 figures, I'm not.
2 things about it. One of them is, if we go to collective bargaining and he's an employee, I mean, if we go to where student athletes are employees, you can fire him. You can cut his pay. You can do all that. On the other side of things as well, NIL is supposed to be paid due to the marketability and brand of a student athlete. Yeah. By rule, it is not supposed to be performance-based.
Barry, you mentioned, you said something that, of course, first thing popped into my head. You can fire him, kind of like the real world. That's what college teaches you, how to adjust to the real world. Wait a minute. They're firing me from the football team? Yeah, you suck. Get out of here. Real world.
Meanwhile, you can get fired from your job as a student librarian on work study. You can get fired from your job working in the student.
To be a student librarian?
I had to work when I went through college. I always had to have a job. I'm
trying to figure this out in this card catalog deal. Can you help me here, man?
Yeah, and if she doesn't know Dewey Decimal System, what the heck is that? And you can fire her. I worked as a resident assistant in the dorms at the University of Florida. And I knew one guy and I got paid for it. It was work study, the university paid it, and that was part of my financial aid. We had another guy in the dorm. His name was John. Not saying his name was John. I remember him because he was about 6'7", and he was a resident assistant in the other dorm, and he got fired.
Whoa.
Because he also had a little side business with several of his residents and several other students as well, providing them with recreational substances. You can get fired no matter what if you're under contract to the school.
You commit a crime, you're going to get fired. I get that.
Well, he never got charged with it.
Passes, I don't believe is a crime, but they can get rid of you if you don't catch enough of them.
Well, if you drop
business on the side nowadays, I don't think you get fired for that. But
he didn't get arrested; he just got fired.
Back in the 80s, you probably were going to get into some kind of trouble.
Well,
all right, when we get back, oh, look at this! It's time for the Daily Dog.
No. Once again, This is my main charge with Longshore, is trying to keep him on track. It is pastime for the
Yeah, but we
Daily
got to
Dog.
have it.
Because we also have to do our starting five, and we still have to do our Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 topic wheel, all hopefully
folks,
within the next half hour, like this entire segment just took.
It's going to be an action-packed 30 minutes. Don't go anywhere.
The clock, people, the clock. I've battled it every show. Longshore and McKnight, in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Put the producer asleep. Hey, folks, how often do you think about your roof? Probably not often at all. I know I didn't until I needed a roof replacement. And I call my friends at Roof Life. Whether it's roof inspections, roof repair, or insurance roof replacement, Roof Life is there for you. They use the highest quality products, top quality craftsmanship, and if you're like me, your roof can be replaced in one day. So if you're in need of a roof inspection, roof repair, or insurance roof replacement, get in touch with my friends at Roof Life today. You can go to roofyourlife.com. That's roofyourlife.com, or dial them up locally at 334-306-6712. That's 334-306-6712. Pravel Carpet is the most trusted name in flooring in the River region. Ray Bowles and his staff have an extensive line of Mohawk stain-resistant carpeting in all the latest styles and colors. Pravel Carpet also has hardwood, vinyl, and ceramic tile for all of your flooring needs. Professionally installed at the absolute lowest prices. Take advantage of cash and carry vinyl plank at just $239 a foot. Call them today to set up your free measurement for your home, office, lake house, hunting camp, or wherever you need flooring. 285-8117. That's 285-8117, or drop by 2201 Cobbs Ford Road in Prattville for Prattville Carpet. Well, all right, back at it here, folks. Glad you're with us here today on this Monday. I kind of hinted at the Daily Dog today. Barry, I don't know if you wrote it down on Friday.
I did not. I was
man.
I was in the hotel room.
Ooh, wow. Well, it was an early.
Sorry.
It's okay. It was an earlier
Saturday?
tip on Saturday.
Okay, all right.
It was taking place in Nashville.
Oh, okay. Yep, I got you now. I remember it. The in-state battle between the Tennessee Volunteers and the Vanderbilt Commodores. I think Tennessee was a 3.5 point dog.
3.5 point underdog.
3.5 point underdog on the road at Vanderbilt.
Yeah. Yep, they were. Commodores, home game, Memorial Gym, whole deal, in-state rivalry.
That's right. Yeah.
That didn't matter because Tennessee wins the game outright. As our Daily Dog catching 3.5, the Vols go into Nashville. Probably the Tennessee contingent there as well, I would think. And they beat Vanderbilt on the Commodores' home floor by 4. Didn't even need the 3.5, but we took it anyway. We appreciate it. Another winner for the day, another winning week for the Daily Dog. Once again, nobody's making any snide comments on the River Region Straw chat line, I see. Thank you.
Oh, that's probably still coming.
Must have been a good day. So, enough tooting our horn about how great things went on Saturday. Let's check in with today.
All right.
Monday. We're going to go back to NCAA men's college basketball.
All right. Big Monday normally means big.
There's some, how do I put this without offending anybody? I mean, there's some crappy games today. Let me give you some examples. Sacred Heart at Marist. No, wait. That was on Sunday. Excuse me. That was still
Nichols at Lamar.
I knew
UT Rio Grande Valley versus McNeese tonight.
Hey, here it is. Incarnate Word at Northwestern State.
Northwestern State. Yeah, the Cardinals versus the Demons.
Ooh, UT Rio Grande Valley at McNeese.
Yep, just mentioned that.
How about that? Yeah.
Houston Christian, which shouldn't be a school, it's a church, against East Texas A&M, of which John has only been aware of their existence for about 10 days.
Well, luckily, Barry, there's a couple of schools we know about. One of them I mentioned earlier, Houston is at Kansas. Wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole. Not sure if this kid's going to play, play for 5 minutes and then, sit on the bench. It's a mess in Lawrence, Kansas, because he's thinking, I'm going to the league. I don't need you people. I'm out. So, Barry, we're going to go to a game that really is going to kind of start the night off. And it's on ESPN.
Oh.
Yep, it is North Carolina. And they are taking on Louisville in Chapel Hill, 6 o'clock tonight on ESPN.
Got it. Okay. ACC battle.
ACC battle tonight. Now, North Carolina, Barry, is getting 2.5 points in this game. 2.5 points. Let's look a little closer here.
All right.
As we look at this game, these teams are pretty fairly evenly matched. North Carolina comes in the game 9-5 in the ACC. Look at this. Right. Louisville is 9-5 as well. Overall, Carolina's 21-6. Louisville's 20-7. Pretty close. Both teams are 4 games back out of first place. Duke's in first place. These two programs are 4 games back. What do I don't know about North Carolina? That they're a home dog against a team like Louisville? What am I missing here?
Is somebody hurt?
Am I getting suckered into this tonight? I don't get it. I don't understand what's happening here.
That is crazy. But, it's there.
It's there. And so we're going to take the home dog, the North Carolina Tar Heels, taking on Louisville. North Carolina's ranked 16th in the country, Louisville 21. And they're the favorite? Don't make sense.
That's a good get. That does not make sense. But then again, it's right there, It's
there. So we're going to go with North Carolina plus 2.5, hosting Louisville. Early tip, 6 o'clock, ESPN. That is the Phantoms' daily dog.
All right, let's do this. Let's take a break. I've lost track. Let's take a break right here. When we come back, we may have just a full segment with the starting 5.
Yep.
And hopefully our Gurn Jr. Victoryland Triple.
Known by avid golfers as one of the most beautiful and challenging stops on the Robert Trent Jones golf. Known by avid golfers as one of the most beautiful and challenging stops on the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, Cambrian Ridge in Greenville lies just 40 miles from Montgomery. It is well worth the ride for any golfer looking for 27 holes of jaw-dropping golf. The greens have been redesigned to accommodate the higher green speeds associated with their installation of the latest generation of ultra-dwarf Bermuda grass. Cambrian Ridge offers a fully stocked pro shop with all the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com/Cambrian Ridge for tee times and more information.
Ram Truck Month is here at Stivers, Alabama's #1 volume CDJR dealer. New Rams, 19 grand off or 0% for 6 years. And heavy duties, 14 grand off. Backed by Rams' 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. Only at Stivers, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep.
The Destin Connection Seafood Market at 3750 Norman Bridge Road in Montgomery has the freshest seafood direct from the Gulf of America. I'm talking red snapper and grouper, all sizes of Gulf shrimp, jumbo lump crab meat, and crab claws, Louisiana Bay oysters, and New Bedford scallops. They are a full-service seafood market and kitchen serving po' boys, dinners, and sandwiches. Many well-known restaurants in the river region purchase their seafood from the Destin Connection because they know it's the absolute best. Call ahead and your order will be ready for pickup. The Destin Connection Seafood Market, 3750 Norman Bridge Road. Call 288-4272. That's 288-4272.
Hang on. John, you're not able to hear John right now, but yeah.
See, I turned my microphone on and somebody turned it off.
Here we go.
I was just talking about John from Wetumpka.
Great.
Really appreciate,
Great dialogue about the state of college athletics this morning. I am not happy about where we stand today at all. The frustrating thing is that I don't have any solutions. Normally you can think of something. Well, let's try this. Let's try that. The other frustrating thing is that we have done it to ourselves. We have had a lack of leadership, a lack of foresight. Let's just go ahead and take the money. Let's just go ahead and sell ourselves out to get the money for the short term because we need it for Bunsen burners and Petri dishes. And you get the money and you don't end up spending it on Bunsen burners and Petri dishes. You end up spending it on more things. Here's the other aspect of it, John from Wetumpka, that you're starting to see. And John Longshore, to his credit, brought it up a long time ago. Schools are making all this money, hundreds of millions of dollars and everything. And you're thinking, boy, that's great. You know, they're making a profit. They can pour it. Like many good businesses do, they can pour it back into improving the business, improving infrastructure, you know, sprucing the place up. College athletics ain't doing it, except for, you know, the keeping up with the Joneses kind of things, like indoor practice facilities and stuff like that. John, you ain't going to see new arenas anymore. You ain't going to see, oh, we've got a brand new this and that. Except for very rare cases, all of the profit, all of the money, basically all of the contributions are for one thing, and that's NIL.
You better believe it.
Making sure you procure talent. Which do you need more? Do you need a really, really good quarterback, or do you need to tear down your arena and build a new one? Yeah, it'd be sure good to get a good quarterback. That's kind of what drives the bus here.
Don't be looking for some construction equipment to show up in Tuscaloosa for a new basketball arena anytime soon.
No. All right.
Not going to happen. All right. The starting five, Barry, today is the Bulldogs of Mississippi State, who they kind of surprised me a little bit last year. I mean, they kind of had moments where they looked somewhat good.
They weren't very many of them last year. Yep, there weren't many of them. There weren't certainly enough of them last year, Flebby. A year ago, well, you know, before we got started, we checked on this, and yes, Mississippi State is still in the SEC. They were 5-8 last year for Mississippi State. Not bad. Yeah, they were 5-4 at one point, but they lost their last four, and they were 1-7 in the SEC. The worst loss last year, not necessarily, you know, by the biggest point total. They lose to Wake Forest, and in the bowl game, in the Duke's Mayo Bowl.
Ooh.
And if you have to play Wake Forest, you do not lose to them. Wake Forest is like
they beat Arizona State.
When I point out, you know, if you had a big boy conference, if you and they lost close to Texas and they lost relatively close to Georgia.
Yeah.
If you are if we're talking about a big boy conference, you know, let's do Power Four all be together, breakaway. Yeah. Well, you know, Wake Forest is in the Power Four. Yeah, but not really. Yeah. Mississippi State this year under Jeff Lebby, by the way, you were right about this as well. Mississippi State was supposed to play at Troy this year. Ain't gonna happen. They bought out of that.
You know, now that you bring that up, yeah. Wait a minute, what happened there?
A 9-game SEC schedule is what happened this year. Mississippi State's non-conference games are at home against ULM, at Minnesota, and Tennessee Tech in November.
What city is Tennessee Tech in?
Is it in Cookeville, Tennessee? I've done games at Tennessee Tech.
No
Cookeville,
way.
I think. Tennessee Tech is where Mac Brown used to be the football coach way back when.
Barry,
All right.
does Lamo have it in their bylaws that they've got to play at least one SEC school every year?
They have it in their financial outlook. Boys, if we
Okay.
don't play if we don't get one SEC team scheduled, our budget ain't even going to come close to being fulfilled, and they got the smallest budget anyway.
You are in Monroe quite a bit, so can
I was in
State
Monroe
beat
last week.
Lamo in their opener in Starkville? I say they can.
Mississippi State will win that one.
Okay,
Their first, they play 5 in a row.
Paused up there a little bit. I went, whoa, Barry's going for the big upset there, huh?
No, don't see it.
Okay.
5 in a row before they have an off date, before they go to LSU. That's the good news.
And this kind of sets up well for the starting 5 because there are 5 in a row. They have an off week to fire their coach if need be. I don't think they will.
I don't
but
either.
Barry, I've already told Greg Byrne to cancel this series. What is State? Who wants to play Minnesota? What?
At Minnesota.
That does you no good.
If you're going to play them, Minnesota has won a national championship before. Minnesota's in the Big Ten. What's wrong with Minnesota? Yeah, 1940. Bruce Smith won the Heisman that year. ULM
Hey,
at
Barry,
home.
guess who won the national championship the next year?
So you got ULM to get started again.
No, they did. Look at the letterhead. It's on the letterhead.
ULM to start in Starkville to open, then at Minnesota. They don't play in the Metrodome anymore because the Metrodome doesn't exist. They play in an outdoor stadium in Minneapolis, but it's September. If you got to play Minnesota non-conference, John, play them in September. They go to South Carolina.
They're going to win the first 2. They're going to beat Minnesota. South Carolina, Missouri, and Alabama.
South Carolina all the
Alabama at home.
Yeah. I see 2 and 3 for Mississippi State in the starting 5.
Yeah,
I don't know that they beat Minnesota. I think they lose to Minnesota. Ooh. I think they win at South Carolina.
Barry,
those are the 2 wins.
If they beat South Carolina, Shane Beamer might not make it to the next week.
It's true, and that's a shame because I love him. I think he's a great guy and a good coach. But
I don't know. On the road in Columbia early in the season.
I'm not going to die on this hill. I'm not going to stand confidently at the top of the Mississippi State beat South Carolina in Columbia hill with my legs shoulder length apart and my spear in my hand and daring people to knock me off because I'll walk off that myself. It ain't something I feel super strongly about, but 2 and 3 at best, 1 and 4, John, I could see that.
Yeah, I'm 2 and 3. I'm going to give them a little love. I'm going to go. I think they'll beat Minnesota on the road just because they beat Arizona State last year, which was an impressive win for Mississippi State. So I'm going to kind of hang my hat on that. But Barry, I see them 0 and 3 in the conference going into that open date. Then they got to go to Baton Rouge the next week. Uh-oh.
By the way, one quick thing about Baton Rouge, since John's riffing a lot on the program today. We've already done LSU in the starting 5, and I've said before, I believe in LSU. I think they're going to win a lot this year. Kurt Cignetti signed a new contract extension at Indiana that'll pay him $13 million a year through 2033. Wow. The only 2 other coaches in college football that are earning that much, $13 million or more every year, Georgia's Kirby Smart and LSU's Lane Kiffin. And that's the obvious question. I get Kirby. I get Cignetti. He has made a huge impact on Indiana University. But why Lane Kiffin? What has Lane done?
I wonder.
Why is he making $13 million? What has he won a title as a head coach? No. I mean, Ole Miss, they made the college football playoff. They still have never played in the SEC championship game, and he wasn't even there for them in the SEC. Why is Lane Kiffin making as much money as Kirby Smart and Kurt Signetti.
Maybe
Why?
is it just, well, I mean, look what he did to Ole Miss, turned them into a 10-win program, resurrected his career standing next to Nick Saban for 3 seasons. But you're right. He's got to win a championship now.
Cedric stands next to Nick Saban all the time, and he don't make $13 million a year.
No, he doesn't. He does not. You're right.
I
don't know. All right. So that's Mississippi State. I got them going 2-3. So that will wrap up state today. Tomorrow in our starting 5, we will move down the line alphabetically, and Missouri will be our team of the day tomorrow. So we'll talk about the Missouri Tigers in our starting 5.
Yes, that's coming up. Yes. Now it's time. I was wondering about that. We were in a holding pattern just to make sure we were going to have a Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 topic wheel on this Monday, and we are. Brought to you by Victoryland 777 Casino, exit 22, I-85, Shorter, Alabama, where you can be a winner too. We've got 6. John and I are discovering this just as you are. Sure. This is called holding off, like he used to do on his high school prom date. Let's see. Maybe. I'll tell you what, I'll get back to you. Yeah. My guy Bridgman. What's his first name? Jeff?
Yes.
Yeah.
How about this guy?
Jacob Bridgman just about collapsed. And Rory was breathing down his neck. Bridgman avoided a Sunday collapse. He wins by a shot over Rory at the Genesis Invitational. His first win on the PGA Tour. Ooh, had a 7-shot lead early in the day, wins by 1.
That's all it takes.
This is a good one. I'm glad Gurn has highlighted this one. He is also the first man to win the Genesis Invitational in his tournament debut. First time since 1975. Yeah. So
you're going to see this young man on some leaderboards in the future. Derek Riviera had a great tournament, played well. A young kid, there's no doubt. He's a youngster. But to have Rory breathing down your neck and being able to hold on, okay, sure, it's true. He dropped 6 shots from that 7-shot lead, but, that ended up with, one's all he needed.
That's all. That's it.
Take the kid, and good for him. I think they're about to start making the Florida swing. They've been out west a lot lately, but I believe they're kind of heading to Florida. So maybe Doral and Arnold Palmer's tournament is coming up. So the Florida swing is heading this way. And then, of course, they'll be eyeing Augusta in early April. There's a series on YouTube, Barry, somebody tipped me off to, called Hollowed Ground. It's probably a 10, 12-part series. They're about 10 minutes long, about all the different unique aspects of Augusta National. If you're a golf guy or just a history buff, I think you'll enjoy that. It's called Hollowed Grounds.
Or if you're an insomniac, you might want to watch that as well. I could just see, man, I've got my mind on stuff, maybe finances, maybe worried about my big toe, ingrown toenail or something. Hey, I know what I can, and I'm just tossing and turning. I know what I can do. I can watch 10 minutes about that fabled 14th fairway and how the azaleas are.
Well, one of them's on fashion, one of them's on food, one of them's on the grounds. I mean, they break them up into all these different subtopics. And Barry, the thing I like about it, they're only about 10 minutes long. I ain't got to go through 60 minutes of fluff. It's like the old USA Today newspaper. Boom. 4 paragraphs done. That would be my favorite part about it as well, is that it's only 10 minutes long.
Yeah. I got to watch this. I can withstand anything for 10 minutes. Well, almost anything.
It's some old Chris Schenkel highlights. Oh, it's awesome. All right, here we go. Spin away.
All right.
5 more to go. Victoryland 777 Casino, exit 22 off I-85 in Shorter, Alabama.
The difference. Hit us with this one. What's the difference?
Celtics and Lakers.
Oh, I read something about this. All of the movie stars that were there. Pat Riley got a statue outside the Staples Center or whatever they call it now. Plenty of stars, but Celtics beat the Lakers pretty badly, 111-89 in LA for basically two reasons.
Tough.
It's because the Lakers aren't any good, mostly.
Did LeBron play?
But it was mostly the second line guys. Peyton Pritchard off the bench. Baylor Shireman got the start. Hugo Gonzalez. Wait a minute.
Love that guy.
Austin is playing Baylor Shireman and Hugo Gonzalez. I think Hugo Gonzalez was the name of that guy behind the counter at the CVS in Caguas, who I asked for directions how to get to the Coliseo Hector Soto Basares. All right, there you go. One more. Here we go. Let's keep it going. Rolling along here. Yes.
4 more to go. 5 minutes to do it. Well,
good. Somebody cranked this baby up.
And it's
yeah, this has got to be hockey. Got to be hockey.
Look at
Jack
that.
Hughes. Now, he took a stick across the face. I think it was in the second period of the gold medal game. Took a stick across the face. They gave the guy a high sticking penalty. He went to the sidelines, I think pulled a fragment of his tooth out. They tried to stop the bleeding. And then Jack Hughes ends up scoring the memorable winner in the golden goal in overtime. You think he cares about his teeth? I know a lot of people who would give a front tooth for a gold medal. That guy, I love it because afterwards in the postgame interview, he said, I love my country. I love my team.
Beautiful. Yeah.
By gosh.
Mary, this guy's going to be promoting some product on TV.
Pearl Drops.
Look for it. Yeah.
When I was a kid, they had this lady that did a Pearl Drops commercial where she ran her tongue across. I could not wait to get Pearl Drops, and I didn't.
too.
Anyway, back at
yeah, I remember her. Yeah,
right.
and she kind of made some sound effect as she rubbed her tongue across her teeth.
Kind of like a purr.
Kind of a moan.
13-year-old me was like, I have got to get some Pearl Drops. Big triple. Oh, a triple play in spring training?
Already?
Right. This has got to be the Giants and the Rockies. All right, catch. Throw. That's one out. Throw to second. That's two. And then, they got two base runners on one bag, so you tag them both. That's a triple play. Boy, that reminds me of the Braves in the late 70s.
Wow. Wait a minute. You know this is true. He
advances to third. Unfortunately, there's somebody already standing there.
That doesn't count. Come on.
It wasn't the Rockies. It was the Giants and the Cubs.
I mean, spring training. Jeez. They're not even into it, much less fans. All right, 2 more to go. See what we got.
In honor and Benedict Arnold. Are we talking Auburn's quarterback last year?
Yeah, boy,
now he's at UNLV.
That
was Jackson Arnold. Benedict Arnold.
Benedict Arnold.
Oh, Chris Kapilovic.
Who?
Is this a big deal? He was the Alabama offensive line coach.
Yeah.
And now he joins Auburn as an offensive analyst. That kind of stuff happened. Bill Oliver was a former Auburn head football coach.
That's right.
Chris Kapilovic got let go as the offensive line coach at Alabama, and he is being hired. It's not a big deal because he's not a position coach. He is an analyst. Why is he an analyst? Because he still wants to get paid his separation money from Alabama. Some other schools besides Auburn, as it turns out, do pay coaches that they have fired. Some people don't want you to believe that, but that has happened with Chris Kapilovic. He is now at Auburn. Big deal. Who cares?
Yeah,
he needs a job, you know.
He's that desperate? Huh.
Yeah, that's what some of those old ladies at the community. Oh, honey, I feel so badly for him because surely he really didn't want to do that. Things must have been hard in his household.
Guess so. All right, 1 more to go. Got to spin it to make it official.
In honor, Your
Honor.
Of?
Let's see. Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. This was tragic. This was about a year or two ago. Jake Gaudreau, he would be on this team, except he and his brother lost their lives in a tragic car accident. The kid you see up there, go back up to the screen. If it was not for that accident, and he and his brother both passed, Gaudreau would be a member of this U.S. Olympic hockey team. So they made sure they had a jersey there for him. And you see right in the middle of the screen and down at the bottom left, those are his two kids. So they spent a lot of time honoring, I think his name is Jake Gaudreau. There's two brothers. Roll down and let's see if we can make sure we get their names right before we take Johnny Gaudreau. That's right. He and his brother Matthew died, well, it was a year and a half ago. They were riding bicycles in New Jersey and got struck by the car by a drunk driver. So, very tragic, but I did notice that, and it's perceptive of Gurn to bring that
Good pull.
up.
Yes.
All right.
Very good pull. Appreciate that. Yes. Big hockey gold. Yeah, I know what you're saying. I hear you. I know. Yeah. It's going to be a long summer, ladies and gentlemen. Get ready.
Love it. It's underway. Could not be happier. It's a great, big, beautiful world, Chris the Bammer.
Yeah. All right, tomorrow, Brian Matthews, AuburnSports.com will join us on the program at the bottom of hour number 1. Travis Ryer on YouTube, Talking Tide, will join us to kick off hour number 2 tomorrow as well. Missouri is our starting 5. Auburn is at Oklahoma tomorrow night. We'll preview that. Get ready for Bama hosting Mississippi State on Wednesday. So we got a lot to get to tomorrow.
Make sure you join us. He's John Longshore. I'm Barry McKnight. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.